holes welded up. I actually quite like it. Looks studded like that. Well, I've done it and ground them smooth. I wasn't really keen on doing this myself because I was worried I would lose the patina. Well, I will lose the patina, but I was worried I wouldn't be able to get it back even. I think what I'm going to have to do is sand all of this whole front panel and then let it rust separate and hope it all looks the same afterwards. But I had an idea. I'm going to use a fiberglass strip and clean disc to take all the paint off and the rust, and hopefully it should blend in a bit easier. Not sure how successful this is, if I'm honest. The holes have gone, but I've tried sanding it just with water to try and blend it. That's not really working. I think what I'm going to have to do is take all the paint off, or all of the whatever it is, rust and paint, up to that line, and then I've got some Happy Shopper Finest table salt, and I'm going to wet it, flick salt on it, and hopefully by tomorrow it looks brilliant. Right, I'm done for the day. It's been a long day, been a successful day. Hopefully that's going to look decent tomorrow. In terms of applying the salt, I literally just flicked some on and then I thought, nah, don't know what I'm doing, so I just rubbed it around with my hand, and then I cleaned off above that line with fresh water, and hopefully that will do something interesting. At least it will be consistent across the front, and that's the main point. It's about 12 hours since I administered the water. Oh, fuck socks. I left my welder out. I forgot to come down last night and tidy everything up. That is stupid of me. Yeah, anyway, it's about 12 hours since I administered my rusty shitty water, and already we're getting... Oh, damn it, I probably shouldn't have done that. We're getting some rusty patina. It's not going to be like hard adhered on there, so it's going to be quite difficult for the body shop, I think, to rub that down and then clear coat it without taking it all off again. But we'll just see what develops over the next few days, and hopefully we'll get some proper rust. It is Sunday evening. I haven't done anything on any of the cars today. Been busy with other stuff. But I wanted to do a brief update on the front of Dotty and trying to get rust to grow, which is kind of perverse when you think about it, because the whole point was chopping rust out of this car, and here I am putting salty water on it, hoping that it will develop rust. So yeah, weird. I know you can buy paint that does rust. I've seen it on cars. I mean, this is the complex issue for me. I hate rat look. I think it's really wank to take a really nice car and fuck it up like people do with Mark IV Golfs and stuff like that. I hate Golfs because they're shit. Mark 1 and Mark 2 are great. 3 is shit, all of them. 4, the diesels and the turbo are okay. After that, they're pretty shit until they get the DSG gearbox. But anyway, that's enough ranting about how much I hate Volkswagens. It's weird for me to be trying to make something rusty that wasn't originally rusty, but that's what I'm doing. It kind of fits with the keeping of the car. That is just plain water now. I did put salt on it, but it just turned it green, so I've just been putting a bit of water on it every now and again over this weekend. The danger is that when the body shop get the car, they're going to need to key it down ready for the clear, and when they key that, it will probably go back to black, because that's what you can see there is the original Rover cathodic treatment black, stuff like that. Whereas on the front, when they key that, it's going to take off the flash rust and make it look silver. I'm not so bothered about that. I think it'll actually look okay, because this is all in primer grey, and then the bumper is chrome with the black end caps and the black overriders. So when I did clean the paint and rust off, I tried not to go above that body line. There's a couple of bits like that where there's a bit of a step in it, but you'd have to be a bit anal or very close to the car to spot that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll blend in okay. The rust paint I was talking about and bitching about Golfs, you can actually buy paint which has, I don't know whether it's metal particles or just stuff that looks like metal particles, but you can basically paint it on a plastic bumper and it will rust to make it look rat-look. So I'm not proposing to do that, because that would be more money, more time, more expense. But if the next guy who has the car decides that that's the way he wants to go, then that's another solution around it, if that ends up looking really bright and rubbish when it's got clear coat on it. I've also been reading about clear coat. I always thought clear coat ended up leaving stuff super shiny. Apparently it doesn't. You can buy satin clear coat or matte clear coat. So bits like this, where you've got the original patina, or rust as we like to call it, and then bits of primer, and then the original argent silver down here, hopefully that can be overcoated with a satin rather than a gloss, so that it'll still make it look rather dulled. The other way of doing this whole car would have been to have waxed it, so I wouldn't even have needed to have taken it to a body shop. I could have done my very bad fillering and then got somebody, or myself, could have rubbed the whole car down and then used something called anchor wax or some of the other heavy waxes. But the problem is that the wax means that if you ever did want to do a proper job and paint the car, there'd be, well, it would be a complete mission, because that wax would have sunk into the panels, and being a complete bitch, you would have had to sand the panels wafer thin to actually get them back without any wax in them, so you could actually paint over it without it reacting. The other problem with wax is if you drive this into a dusty car park, the wax will just adhere to the metal and or the top surface, especially on a hot day, and just stick. Dead flies, dust, sand, you name it, it'll be stuck to it. So yeah, the way to go. Hopefully that rusts up, hopefully it can be keyed lightly, the rest of the car can be rubbed down, and then the whole thing can be painted in satin clear or a light clear, and hopefully we'll end up with a car that actually looks like a genuine beater, not something that some teenager has decided to bolt a roof rack and a BMX onto the roof. It's an absolute stonker of a day. It is chuffing hot. That's actually quite good for my patina experiments. It's now Tuesday night, and I was last playing around with this on Saturday, and all I've been doing is just putting more water on the front. I haven't bothered with the salt anymore, but because it's so, I don't know, hot, this evaporates off so fast. I think that's helping a bit. But yeah, starting to get some quite good corrosion. It's so weird that I'm going through this whole mindset of creating patina, because it's just the opposite of my ordinary attempts in life to conquer corrosion. But it's just what this car's going to be like. Anyway, I'm going to completely douse this with water periodically up until the point it's off to the body shop. In the interim, I'm going to start trying to repair that tailgate, or at least grind out the worst of the rust, treat it with the Hydrate 80 and then some red on Bonder primer, so that once it's silver it should stay silver for a little bit longer. Here we have the tailgate. The other day I was attacking it with a wire wheel on a drill just to see what it was like. It's really strange how it's rusted. It's like it's actually gone through the paint in places. I don't know, but anyway, I'm going to grind it, see how bad it is, and work out which bits need to be chopped out and which bits can just be rubbed down, left and treated. Right, most of that is okay. I've ground it, and as soon as you take the surface rust off, it's okay. I'm not saying it's perfect, because it ain't, but it's pretty good. And then up here, this is where we have our first real problem area. I mean, maybe I'm being fussy. You probably could have just rubbed all of this down, rust treated it, and it would have been okay. But there was actually deep rust between the layers. So this top area is made of up to 3 pieces, and I say up to 3 because in the middle it's just 2. That bit, and then the outer skin, which is hammered along the top and then spot welded along that edge. So you just got 2 pieces together. And then at the corners from about here into here, you've actually got 3. One is a reinforcer for the hinge area running into the corners, so you can just see it from there onwards. And I've chopped that bit out because I think it was properly gone, and then I've unpicked down to the reinforcer layer, which is that bit, and I've left the skin on the far side because that's okay. So what I need to do now is make a plate to go in there, which will be seam welded all the way along into that corner and plug welded through onto there. I'm actually going to do this in one piece, but it's going to be thicker than it would have been originally, and hopefully that will save me time, effort, and yet make it nice and strong. So that's what I'm going to do now. Then I'll rust treat everything and paint it in red oxide. My brilliant plan for doing it out of one piece didn't work. I'm going to have to do it in 2. So this is the one that goes on from the back side and picks up on the reinforcer like so. Then that bit will just be hanging in free air until I put another panel in from the other side to make up the full thickness. So I'm going to carry this lot over to the garage, lay it on the floor and weld that in. Well, if I'm honest, that isn't my finest work. There's actually quite a crease there, so I just boshed it with a hammer, and some of it's come out, but some of it hasn't. So that'll have to be tapped in low, that bit pulled out a bit more and then fillered. There's one there which I've kind of got out, and another one here which is slightly better because they're not creases, but really it ain't the best. Never mind. So I'm going to go measure up for that, make a strip, come back, weld it in. Time for an update. I think there will be a bit of a jump in the videos there, so apologies if that all went a bit wrong while you're viewing this. Last thing I was doing and recording was welding up that bit of the tailgate. I actually lost the footage, but what happened was it was going so incredibly badly and I was in an extremely bad mood that I just stopped and had to walk away. So I still need to take the tailgate off and finish welding that up. But I want to take it outside and do it because just working in here in the dark was really pissing me off. I'm trying to do stuff I'm not very good at, which is bodywork, and I've basically given up. I really suck at doing filler, which is kind of strange because a lot of people seem to be scared of the welding and really good at the fillering, whereas I'm the other way around. I tried to put a bit in down here, but the filler I was using, I think I put too much hardener in, so it just went off really fast, and every time I tried to smooth it, it just tore out like that. This is now gone off, so I'm gonna sand the worst of it off, but apologies Mike, Dave and Kieran, because it's gonna be a horror show. I also put a bit in up here just to try and smooth the flow of water, or just to lose that tiny bit down there, bit in here, bit over there. I don't really know why I was doing it, if I'm honest. It's just one of those things that the body shop can do in about 30 seconds, and yet it takes me ages, costs me loads of money and materials, and leaves me massively unsatisfied. I tried to put a bit in down there as well, and that all went really wrong. It's like turned to powder or something strange like that. Basically, all in all, a big fat fail. So, not a happy bunny. In other news, I was hoping that I never wanted to replace any doors on this car. That was never the point. Because you don't need them for an MOT. So it was just rub it down and blow it over. So my idea was to pick holes, pick out the worst, slap some bridging filler in it, and call it a good. But the bottom return lip, which should be holding that seal, has completely gone on this door. The other door, which is over there, is really... it can be saved. It just needs a lot of work, and I don't have time to do the work. So I've got that door, which is a perfect mint-free Series 2 door, which I'm gutted that I'm going to be using on this, because that was out of my special stores area. And then here we have another brand new old stock Series 1 door. Still got its original British Leyland tag on it. Still got the original lip. It's got a bit of a dent there, but that's not so bad. But yeah, I don't have time to fix that door, so unfortunately I'm going to have to sacrifice 2 perfect doors for Dotty, which is a bit of a bummer really, because it's yeah, hard to find bits and pieces. In other news, the Ratlook bonnet was looking quite promising, but you can see where I welded and ground it smooth, the weld pool, the metal's slightly different. Obviously, part of it's made up with MIG wire and part of it is made up with original pressing. Consequently, the rate of corrosion development is different. So this is going to the body shop hopefully tomorrow, and I don't know whether that's going to be rusted in or whether it's just going to always look like that. I mean, you can only really see it if you look carefully, and now I've pointed it out, but either way it's still an annoyance. So I don't know whether you can tell from the tone of my voice, but I'm really sick of this car now. It's a damn cool car, it's going to be brilliant when it's done, but it's a lot of hard work, and really in terms of financial stuff it will not pay off at all. So it's one of those cars that I probably should have kept, but never mind. We just have to suck it up, get it gone, get it done, and move on to the next one. That all sounds a bit negative, but I guess it's the ups and downs. I don't know what that is. Answers on the postcard. It's just the ups and downs of car bodging, really. That didn't help either. I just pushed the tailgate back. Anyway, I'm going to let the filler go off, unbolt that tailgate, weld up the tailgate, bolt the tailgate back on, take that door off, put both the doors on, find what I've done with that locking plate, get it on the trailer, and cry, I think. I had to take the tailgate into the workshop to actually do the welding because it was too dark in the garage, access wasn't great, and outside it's super windy, so all my shielding gas was being blown away. But anyway, that is now new from there to there, both sides. Let's move some of this clobber out of the way. Apologies if I've been a little bit negative, but it's just been a long project, and something else happened yesterday completely unrelated to Dotty, which really pissed me off. I wouldn't usually rant about stuff that's not to do with what's going on with the cars, but kind of is car related. Basically bought a whole load of parts off somebody. We went through what I was going to pay. I gave him all the cash, and then he's emailed me today saying that I owe him more money, which is A new one on me, and slightly annoying. I don't really know what to do about that at the moment. But anyway, I'll work that one out. I'm going to go and get my strip and clean disc or something and just take the remains of the butyl sealer off, and then I shall put some hydrate 80 on all of this pitting corrosion. I might sand it a little bit more in a few places, and then I'll put Bonder primer on it. That's all degreased, well, not degreased. I don't know why I'm showing you doing this side. I'm going to start again because this isn't going very well today. What I was trying to say is that that is all cleaned off now, the remains of the butyl sealer. I'm just going around with some panel wipe to get the final dregs off, and then I can go find a paintbrush, my hydrate 80, and do the rest of this. It's funny how your mood can go up and down with cars. This morning and at lunchtime was really good because Matt Richardson from the Furious Driving channel, he came last week and did a video on the 420 GSI Tourer, and at lunchtime today he messaged me to say that the video is going up online, and I watched it and it's a really good video, sort of talking about how good those cars are in general, the R8 series. And he said some nice things about my one too, and in the video looks absolutely stunning. It's I don't want to let you down, but it's not quite as nice as it looks in his videos and photos, but it is a real cracker of a car, and I very much enjoyed driving it round. That was one that was, I think I paid 500 quid for it, along with loads of the bits to fix it. The idea was just to flog it on again, but I've spent so much time, effort and money on it that I'll never get back what I've spent, and I might as well drive it around and enjoy it for a while. But of course that means cash flow is a bit tight, because I had kind of anticipated selling it before Dotty went off to the paint shop. But never mind. Right, I'm going to go find a paintbrush and a new pot of hydrate 80, and then I'll treat all of that bit. Look at this, brand new jar, which is nice. So it should be nice and fresh in there. I know you're meant to decant it, but it just kind of, you waste it. You're pouring it on, and I know it will self-activate in the pot if I'm not careful, but it's still more efficient for me to do that and accept it's going to go thicker than it is for me to keep pouring it into little tubs every single time. Right, I'm going to do that. You've seen me paint stuff before, so probably not a lot point filming it. The more I look at this tailgate, the more I think what a result it was getting it. You just don't get Series 1 tailgates like this. It's absolutely pristine up here for one of these. And yeah, I've had to make some repairs to that surround, but by the time it's absolutely doused in this stuff, it should be good for a very long time. In fact, that tailgate, I reckon I could probably sell for 150 quid or so, now that it's largely repaired, because you just can't get them. So in fact, I've often thought about whether you can modify a Series 2 and just square it off really. I still need to find glass and chrome trims, which might be a bit of an issue, but at least we'll have that bit done. You never know, I can just wrap it in cellophane. Maybe the new owner won't mind. Back at a time when I was rather more optimistic about my bodywork skills, I thought it'd be a good idea to go and spend money on equipment to do the bodywork, basically. So I bought myself some sanding pads, a mix of sandpaper, then I had specially mixed up BL Argent Silver, so it was only on SD1s for 2 years, and it was on a lot of Jags as well, but that's the original sort of Argent Silver. It's quite a dark silver, I really like it, quite an unusual colour really. But as we have already established, I'm shite at bodywork. I have no idea what I'm doing. So basically that was a waste of 200 quid, and it's not really stuff Well, I'll probably use these in the future, and I'll use them, but that stuff I probably won't. And I doubt the body shop are going to want to use it either, which is a shame, because it's just money down the drain. But never mind, I'm going to get some sandpaper out and experiment with these blocks and see if I can't sand down at least some of the horror show that I've applied to the car. For my first experiments, I have selected some 120 grit and that, and we shall see what happens. I think this might actually be too rough, if anything. Yeah, that's too fierce. That's just gonna destroy everything I've put on there. I don't think I can do this one-handed either. Yeah, in fact I'm gonna have to put the camera down to actually get anywhere sensible with this. Those of you who have been following this for a while will remember how on the other side of the car I put a whole new wheel arch lip in and I made it come down to here. This side I fabricated from about there to up to here in one piece, and then I just shaped the metal correctly. It's key on these cars, in my opinion, to keep the originality of that line. There should be a groove there which gets seam sealed. I've kind of tossed filler over the whole area, and the idea was to then sand a line back into it. So I've just drawn a straight line with my trusty straight edge of where that needs to be, and then you're probably not meant to use files on Bodywork filler, but I've never been one for using all of the tools you're meant to, because I never have all of the tools you're meant to. So I am going to try and lovingly file the groove back into there, and then hopefully it'll start looking like it should. Well, after some creative filing and sanding, that is still looking awful by any stretch, but at least that groove is there and it's in the right place. I'm going to mix up a tiny bit more filler, which is optimistic, I know, but if I build another layer up, maybe I'll be able to get it to smooth down a little bit more, look slightly more normal. See, it's sitting low in that last bit. If that's built out, I should be able to smooth it nicely and we'll be getting somewhere. Right, second dollop of filler shoved in there. Incidentally, this was the filler I'd been using. It's really old, and I think partly that's been my problem because it's just dead lumpy. I think it had started to go off in the pot, and really maybe I should have bought some new filler, and that's part of my problem. I'm going to attack that again and hopefully we'll get closer to a shape. I won't do the final filling, but at least the body shop will have a vague idea as to what it was I was trying to achieve, and then they can do their best to replicate it. But at least we've got that body line in there, so getting somewhere. Well, I think that second application of filler has pretty much saved it. I'm actually surprised by how that's come out. I'm quite pleased. This will need lots of, well, it'll need another skim and all of that cleaned up and, you know, attended to. But this is a semi-rat look car, so when you've got rusty bits like that which have had a bit of silver painted on them, it's not super crucial. The point is there's no rust in there, which is good. I have recently discovered or rediscovered my U-Pole Dolphin Glaze ultrafine finishing filler. I used this on the diesel and I actually had some really good success with it. I don't know why, but I think I just got on better with the really runny filler than I did the slightly thicker stuff. So there's a couple of other areas on the car that I might try and put a little bit of that in. I don't know, I'm gonna have a cup of tea and I think about what I'm gonna do next. You know that old phrase, quit while you're ahead? I kind of wish I had, because once again I've mixed up far too much hardener. It's gone off before I've had a chance to smooth it off, and now I've got a big goddamn slab of filler where I probably didn't need it. But never mind, I am going to go and have a cup of tea now and think about what else to do, really. Well, that's a different view. There's quite a lot of winching, but car is on trailer. I'm going to strap it down, and then depending on how knackered I feel, I might do a tiny bit more. sanding and fillering. It's really not worth it though, because I can take an hour to do something that the skilled guys at the body shop will take about 30 seconds and do a better job. I'm slightly paranoid that me putting filler in bits and pieces like that is just going to slow them up, because they'll have to then probably tit around with it more than had they just done it themselves in the first place. Honestly, have no idea where I got to doing videos. I was just fanning around really. Oh, knackered. Had to get that on the trailer, which was quite a lot of winching. I put a tiny bit more U-pole dolphin in there, and that's going off, so we can turn our attention to slapping the tailgate back on, which is now over here. That's been red oxided in and around where it needs to be, so I'll get that on. Then I need to sling these doors on. I might not actually bother bolting them on. I might just put them in the boot of my car, because they're just going to have to come off again to be prepped, so it's not a lot of point really. Yeah, well anyway, that's what I'm going to do now. Where am I? What am I doing? Yeah, tailgate's on, taped down. This door I've taped down. I haven't refitted the latch mechanism because it's being an absolute pain in the proverbial to get out of that door. So if the body shop need it, I'll have to post it up. This door I've left on for the moment. I'm still conflicted on this one. The bit that's knackered, I could just grind that out and put bridging filler in it, but the whole of the rest of the car basically has no rust, so that would be really stupid. So I'm going to leave the door on there, and I'm going to take the other good brand new door up with me, and then I'm going to talk to Mike and see what he says about things that we can do with those bits. Headlights are all out. This is like so annoying. I should really just sand that off, but I can't be bothered. It's too late, I'm too tired, I can't be bothered. Yeah, not really much else to say about this. This door, I don't know what's going on with it. It doesn't want to sit in at the front properly. I think it might need a bit of a hammer and tickle with a big block of wood or something. That rear door's okay-ish. There's certainly the patina doors that I want to keep. I think I'm going to stop prattling and go in now, because I really am knackered. I don't know why. Set them up with me today. See you later. About to embark on a long old day. It's about 240 miles I think up to Bridge North to drop the car off, bring the bubble back. It's nice seeing this outside actually, and a bit of a side profile shot. I'm hoping without the front screen and the rear screen I might get a bit of additional MPG boost. I've got that door in there, the rest of the car's empty apart from the driver's seat. I don't know why I put that in there. I doubt they're going to need it. Anyway, I shall now set off. Wish me luck. I'm now at Beaconsfield or Beaconsfield Services. I'm not really sure how you meant to say it. The car, actually, I really like those wheels. Kind of regretting putting it on the gold ones, but that's what's happening. It's weird seeing it all outside again, and you can kind of see it in its full glory. I don't know whether I showed on the video, but I did slap a few bits more filler in. I also seam sealed the underside of there, just that, oh there, that seam along the bottom edge. This bit, when I stand back and look at it, I'm actually quite pleased with. Again, I haven't rubbed this down, that was the U-pole Dolphin, but that body line, my camera work is shocking today. Yeah, that body line looks good. Not really much else to report. Kinda just trogging along really. Oh yeah, one thing to report. I was really looking forward to my McDonald's, which I haven't had since before lockdown, obviously, because no one's had McDonald's until fairly recently. But unfortunately, the McDonald's in there doesn't open until 11 o'clock, which is really annoying. So I've gone to Greggs and bought myself their version of a sausage and egg McMuffin. We shall see what that is like, and then coffee and Lucozade for extra energy. Yeah, might need that today. I have to say, I'm quite impressed with that. It's not got that sausage patty, they're actual real sausages, which is quite nice. I will report back on tastiness.